Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. I want to talk about how to speed up your minimalism journey. Now, don't get me wrong, I think good things take time. I don't think it's about being super fast and the fastest, but there are still some things that you can do if you feel stuck, if you feel like it needs to get a bit faster, you want to make a big step into a more minimalist direction. So these are the things that I want to talk about today. I'm going to share 5 tips with you that I am sure will be able to help you achieve your next goal in your minimalism journey. So the first tip that I have for you is have a vision. And this can both be a goal, like a reason why you want to pursue minimalism, to move, to travel more, to spend less money, to have a cleaner apartment, whatever your reason is. Or it can also just be a really visual vision that you have for your life as a minimalist. And having a reason or a vision or just a picture, something that reminds you of the goal or reminds you of the place you want to go to, will help move through difficult phases. So if you can imagine how your life will be, how you can experience the benefits of minimalism, or how you reach a goal like moving to a smaller house or another country or whatever your goal is, then that helps you to just know why you are here in a situation deciding if you want to keep something or not. It helps you not buy something that you're pretty sure you're not going to use. It helps you just making the decision that will make sense for the future, that you want to be a bit more minimalist. Also here, I think it is important to say that your worth or your success is not determined by your stuff. So I think really starting to believe that and really learning that your worth is never defined by the stuff you own or the clothes you wear or things like that can help, like getting a distance between you and your stuff so that you can more easily let go of the things that actually don't serve you. And in the same sense, it also always makes sense to just get clear on your values. If you know what kind of a person you want to be, if you know your values, you can make your decisions according to that. And by that, I mean the decisions when you declutter, the decision how you spend your time, the decision how to think and talk about other people, the decision if you want to buy something new, bigger life decision, and just every decision you make, you can then base on your values. Now that is complicated, I know, and that is a journey for sure, but focusing on these things more might help you, reach your goals faster and make a big jump on your minimalist journey. But now let's move on to the second tip I have for you, and that is a way more practical one. That is one that might be easier to achieve right now, and that is declutter more. And don't just like throw out more things, because I mean, if you want to declutter, then you declutter, and if it's hard, then it's hard. But what I mean is declutter things that you're unsure of, but don't just throw them away or bring them out of your house, but give them a trial moment. Like put them somewhere, consider them decluttered, but wait for a few months to see if you can actually live without them. And that, of course, can be a backdoor through which all the stuff comes back into your life, or an excuse to not declutter things for good. But I think it can also be a really good way to be more efficient and more effective when it comes to decluttering. Because like that, if you're not completely sure, you can really just declutter all of that stuff that is maybe. And over the next few months, you are able to see if there are things that you really don't want to live without. I think that especially is important for sentimental items, for example, and that is also the area where I use that method. I do declutter sentimental items that I think I'm not going to need anymore, but I'm still not sure how I feel about them. And then through the next few months, I can really see if it would be such a bad thing if they were gone for good. And let me tell you, I don't think I ever took something back. I always realized after the initial letting go that it's actually fine, that I actually don't need those, that I actually have the memories, that these items were not adding value to my life, and so I could let them go for good. And then moving on to the third tip, which is get inspired. Inspiration can be amazing when it comes to our own actions and our own everyday life. So I think one thing is watching videos. That is something that can always inspire me when I watch people declutter, when I watch people think about important topics, when I get new ideas, how to implement something into my life. But there are many other ways to be inspired, to keep being inspired and motivated. For example, teaming up with a friend, finding somebody that is also interested in minimalism and going on your minimalist journey together. Like that, you can help each other and see if you have similar difficulties and problems and questions, or you can motivate each other if the other one is stuck and you are motivated, or the other way around, if you are stuck and the other person is motivated. Of course, if you're living with other people, it often really helps to invite them into minimalism as well. But of course, there are also many people that are just not interested, and I do think that it is important to never pressure somebody into minimalism, but just like talk about it, share why you're interested in it and excited about it, and maybe people understand, maybe people can help you, or they will move along with their stuff as well. I think inspiration and like somebody that can keep you accountable especially can be very helpful to move quicker in your minimalist journey, to be faster when it comes to decluttering and reaching your goals. But another thing, which is the fourth tip, I think is very, very important, and that is limit your spending, limit the things that come into your life. Because of course it makes sense. If you want to downsize your belongings, you really have to pay attention that there are not more things entering your life than there are leaving your life, because then you're never going to achieve a life with less things. I actually do have a whole video where I talk about that, and I'm gonna link it up here for you. But I think really thinking about what enters your life can be a huge help on your minimalism journey. I know that can be difficult because I know our lives change, so it makes sense to sometimes buy something new. Also, shopping is something that we're like really used to in our society. So just stopping to shop and not getting the new things that you see everywhere and maybe want to have can be difficult. But it really, again, makes sense there to think about your values and think about your vision. Because a lot of times, a thing you maybe want to buy wouldn't even benefit these values and this vision. So then you can, get yourself to not buy it if you realize that it won't be a good decision in the long run. But another thing that I've already talked in another video as well that I can link you up here is also that you can think about buying an item or the money you can have instead, and not just about like, I buy this item, then I have an item, and if I don't buy it, I have nothing, because that's not true. If you don't buy it, you have the money, and that money is an opportunity and a resource that you can invest better possibly. I use different ways to make sure that I don't buy too many things, that I don't purchase things that don't add value to my life, or in general that I don't invite things, because sometimes they're free, that I don't invite things into my life that won't benefit it over the long time. I do a low buy. I try to limit myself to one thing a month. Included in that is just stuff for myself, so not household and not groceries and things like that, but just things that I want to add to my personal belongings. I only allow myself to buy one per month. That can be too much for you, too less for you, depending on your life, if things are changing, if you are changing a lot right now, or if you are content with the things you already have. Another way is to try to be more mindful about sustainability, because that, of course, often helps to just not buy things, because you realize you use resources, you realize that will be trash at some point, and maybe you realize you don't need it in your life. It also makes sense to get to know your needs better. My wardrobe, for example, consists of the same number of pieces all the time, like over the past 5 years almost. But it's not always the same pieces. So at least if I'm buying something new, I'm usually decluttering something else. And a one in, one out rule, for example, is also a way to make sure that you're not shopping too much, or at least that the number of the things you own is not increasing. And then the fifth advice that I have for you can be controversial in this video, but I think it's still going to be very beneficial to be more successful in the long run when it comes to your minimalism journey. And that advice is that it is not about being fast or faster than somebody else, achieving your goal in a certain amount of time, but it actually is more about the journey. Because in our minimalist journeys, it is also about quality over quantity. It is very hard to trick yourself into being a minimalist, to cheat your way to minimalism, because I think minimalism is not just throwing away a bunch of things and then having less, because if you just do that, most likely over the long run you won't be more minimalist than you were before, because you're buying things again, or you're just buying new things while decluttering a lot of things all the time. So I think if you really want to have a successful minimalist journey, it also really makes sense to take your time. It makes sense to get to know yourself better. It makes sense to really pay attention to the mistakes you make. It makes sense to pay attention to why certain things are difficult, why you don't want to let go of certain things. Because minimalism can only be successful if you are able to have the things that make sense in your life. And really determining what makes sense in your life only works by getting to know yourself better, by getting to know your needs better, getting to know your values better, and just trying out as well. So it might take time. You might declutter things that you need again later. You might experience some phases where it feels like you're moving backwards, but that's okay. I don't think you're a better minimalist if you can declutter faster. I don't think you're a better minimalist if you end up with less things. Saying that, what does ending up even mean? Because I don't think it's about just decluttering once and then having less stuff. It is so much more about having that mindset, having these values of really paying attention what adds value to your life, what gives you energy instead of what is just random clutter or what takes energy from you. And now I also would be really interested in your best minimalism tips. What were the things that really helped you? What were the questions that you asked yourself while decluttering? What were the moments where you realized something new, something very helpful for your minimalism journey or for your mental health or self-development journey in general? I hope you liked this video, and if you did, you can consider giving it a thumbs up, because that would really help my channel. Also, I'm gonna link you a video here and a playlist here that you can watch if you want to, and I also hope to see you next time. Bye!